Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you don't know me, my name is Candice, and I want to tell you what you can expect from the Toronto real estate market in 2024. So first off, we made it. We're here. Happy New Year to everyone out there. I can't believe it's 2024, January 2024, and I hope that this year is a blessed year for everybody that is watching this. But let's get right into it. The reason why you're here, drum roll, let's talk about what you need to be aware of and what to watch out for in 2024. So the first thing you're going to want to keep your eye on is interest rates. As we have seen all of last year, they've stayed flat for a large portion, and the expectation is this year they're still going to remain flat, and they might even go down. They're expecting a decrease in the interest rates actually in the second half of this year is the discussion. So if that happens, we have to watch what that's going to do to the market, because I'm getting a lot of buyers that are calling me saying, Candice, if those interest rates go down, as soon as they go down, I'm ready to hit the ground running, right? And this is, I think, the big kind of misconception of what everyone is not understanding out there. They're reading articles saying, houses are really hard to afford, which I completely agree with you. It's really hard to get into the market. Yep. You're speaking my language right there. But what they're not saying is there are people that still have money buying, okay? And that's still what we're seeing out there. So there's buyers out there that actually have the means to buy. They're in wait mode. They're waiting for the right time. So if you are in buyer mode, or if this is the year, if you said to yourself, 2024 is the year that I want to own a home, well, then you're going to want to start doing your research right away. You really want to get up to date, because now, up until the spring and summer market might be your best times to buy, okay? We still have to watch and see what happens out there. Nobody has a crystal ball. However, that being said, there are predictions that we're going to have a strong summer spring market, because there's a lot of sellers out there too that didn't sell their property. And that brings me to the second point. You're going to see more realistic seller expectations. So something that we were experiencing for a large portion of 2023, especially during the later half of the year, was what I call tire kicking. So we have a seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller say, I want to sell my home for this amount of money. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer come in and say, we want to pay this money. Seller says, nope, I'm going to hold on to it and sell it in the next spring and summer season, and you make a killing and make way more money. So we weren't really coming eye to eye for actually selling homes, and you saw a lot of properties being listed, but then you also saw those same properties being terminated and potentially relisted at a certain price. And you might be thinking to yourself, why are they relisting it? Well, there's a certain price that the seller wants, right? And that's kind of what they're sticking to. And it's a matter of how much of a negotiation can we have in terms of what the buyer sees value in and what the seller wants to sell for. I will tell you right now, anyone watching this, here's the thing, kids, this isn't a low ball market, okay? So if you are expecting to get a crazy deal, say like some of the sales we were seeing in 2020, and you're hoping to get, hundreds of thousands of dollars off of a property, I'm not seeing it. And I'll just tell you why to make sense. If you have a property, you know that the market is cyclical. You know at some point prices are going to go up again. So if you can hold on to it, you will. You will do whatever you can to hold on to it. You will rent it out. You will rent out a room. You'll take an extra loan possibly, or a second mortgage on it. You'll do what you can, because at the end of the day, the value is there. It's just unlocking it at the right time, okay? So that's what you want to be careful of. But is this a market where you can get good market value? Absolutely. I'm seeing homes sell that would have sold for hundreds of $1,000s more, say in a really strong market, right? So if you get in now and you hold on to it, this actually could be your opportunity. So that's something that we're looking to see in 2024, where we might have more realistic buyer seller expectations, so we can actually make more trading deals, so we can actually complete deals, so buyers get what they want and sellers get what they want. Now that brings me to my third point, which is everything in the market is cyclical, and it's all based on where you are. And remember, if you buy high, right? Or if you're selling, say you sell high, you're going to buy high if that's the market. If you sell lower, you're going to buy a bit lower. That's the market. So if this is a time where you're thinking about either upsizing your home, maybe you are thinking about downsizing from a larger market, say like a Toronto area, and you're thinking of moving out of the Toronto core, these actually could be good times for that this year. So that's something that you want to keep an eye on. The fourth point I want to mention, cottage country. Cottage country is actually pretty reasonable right now. Just with everything going on, we're actually seeing some good prices for cottages. So if a cottage is in your plans and you're thinking about purchasing a cottage, you might want to really look at that this year and get educated on it, because purchasing a cottage, it's a lot of work, right? But learning about that, because if you'll note with the cottages, we're actually having really good opportunity now for pricing. So you can hold on to it and then potentially pass it on generation to generation, and have this great piece of property that you bought at a really good time, okay? And that's where I want to say that you want to look at that in kind of connection with your investment opportunity, okay? So Airbnbs, they're cracking down on them. We're seeing this happen everywhere in the world. They're cracking down on them just in general in terms of noise complaints, in terms of where they are, how they're being managed. Lots of stuff's going on in this world. So you want to be careful of that, because if the goal is to own a cottage and then rent it out for short-term means, I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm just saying that a lot of the rules are changing and have been changing for a while. So you really do want to make sure that you take a look at that. But there's opportunity out there, okay? And that's the sort of one point I really want to mention is there is opportunity for anything that you want to do, okay? I think the goal is you just got to figure out what you want to do. I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, oh, Candice, should I buy? Is it time to buy? And I'll say, I can't answer that for you. I can give you the information and you make the decision, because, you know, if you buy, historically, if you hold on to it long enough, it's going to increase in value, right? Now, the issue is if you buy and you're overextended and then you have to sell very quickly, that's where you might have an issue, right? And timing might not work in your favor. So these are things that you want to consider. In terms of selling, it's also very different for what you're looking at. I've had individuals that sold this year with the means of knowing that they're selling for a little bit less, but they made a killing on the buy side because they were moving to a smaller market, right? So for them, it worked out. So it's not a cookie cutter answer. It's something that you really have to look at for your situation, make a decision, make a commitment to it, and then keep moving forward. Pre-construction, we're still seeing what we're calling fire sales out there. And what this means is that there is people that have bought pre-construction. They might have bought it, 2, 3, even 5 years ago sometimes, and it's been taking a long time to construct. And now that the pre-construction is completed, whether it's a condo or a freehold, the mortgage rates are so much higher that the people who bought the pre-construction actually don't qualify for the mortgage of the pre-construction. Funny enough, right? So they're actually selling their pre-constructions. I have a list of them, and they're selling them at, fire sale pricing, meaning that they're selling it for the cost value of what they purchased in for. And sometimes they're actually even selling it for less than that. So you can get a really good deal sometimes if you're looking for pre-construction. This is the time to actually take a look at it, because they're building more homes now. Ontario is really trying to stick to this mandate of building affordable housing. Let's see how it goes. But pre-construction, if it is something that was already in your plan or you're thinking about it, it's not without risks, but it could actually be a good opportunity right now in terms of purchasing it for the power of dollar, in terms of what you're paying for what you're getting, okay? And the last thing I just want to say is, once again, a reiteration of make 2024 your year of opportunity. So if you are buying and this is the year to do it, get educated, get out there, really make sure that you see what's happening out there. Look at the facts. There's a lot of information that's being floated out there, and I think there's a lot of ways that you can spin different, statistics or numbers. And I say you really want to look at the baseline of just what are the facts, ma'am. What's really out there, and how's that going to help me make a decision, knowing what I know about the market, knowing what I know about my situation. If this is the year to sell, okay? A lot of people are thinking about putting their property on the market in the spring and the summer season. They're not wrong, because again, if we do have these built up of buyers who are out there, and then we have sellers coming to the market and putting out good listings. And what I mean by that is there's always property to buy, but a lot of times my clients are saying, Candice, this isn't what I want. This doesn't fit the bill. This isn't what I'm looking for. But if you've got a really nice home out there, right? You put that on the market, you're going to have a bunch of buyers that might come around and be able to purchase it, especially if interest rates are a little bit lower, okay? If this is the year that you want to invest, I would say be cautious, be very cautious about what you're looking to invest in, how you're looking to invest in, what's the long-term plan of that. Just like the cottage, I don't think purchasing a cottage is right or wrong. It's just specific for what you're doing for your specific situation and what you're trying to achieve with it, right? And the last point I always like to tell people, but I think it's super, super important now as we enter 2024, it's the long game. You really want to focus on the long game, all right? So if you're buying right now, what is the long game? Is this a place that we're going to be in for many, many, many years? Is this a place that we're holding on to and taking the equity out of it so we can purchase something else? What is the long game of things? If you can answer that question, it's going to help you make more rational, concrete decisions and not get so caught up in the noise and the emotion of everything, okay? Well, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I hope everyone has a really fantastic 2024. Take care.